Hello everybody, welcome back to Daniel's Nitro RC channel with another video. This is video number 2 of my big block tmaxx Dodge Ram. I did get the chassis ready for the transmission, and I'll show you guys exactly what I did. That way if you want to build one of these, you can. So the thing that I did was I just took my oscillating saw and I cut out this area and that area right here to make my transmission move forward. So that's what I did. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my servo horn back on, which is this piece right here. And I might have to do a little bit of modification to that too. We'll just have to see how it goes. I might have to grind down either the screws for the brake or grind down some of this plastic on here. But we'll just see how it goes. I'm just going to put this in real fast. This mount for my servo horn for the throttle and brake. You got to have that in there. I'm just going to flip the whole truck over. I'm going to get me the right bit here for my setup. There we go. We're going to put these screws in here real fast. That way I can see if I need to modify anything. I'm just going to put one in for now. That way I can see if I need to do anything to modify the bracket. So I'm just going to put my brake disc in here and clamp it down in there. And hopefully my plan will work just fine. Okay, so yeah, I do need to do a little bit of adjusting on this bracket here for the brake or the servos. I just got to take off a little bit of material in here on both sides of these screws here. So I just got to do a little bit of modification to that. I'm not going to take off a whole bunch, but I got to take off some to make room. Well, wait. Will that line up? No, it's pretty tight. I just gotta take off just a little bit of material off the front side of this servo horn for my throttle and brake. So I'm going to take that back off real fast, and I'm going to go out to the garage real fast and grind some of that off. I'm not going to take off much, just a little bit, just to accommodate room for the screws for the brake. So I'm going to go do that real fast, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, I'm back. So what I did was I took some material off of this, just a little bit. So see how I did that? I ground down 2 little slots on there. So we're going to go ahead and put it back on and see if that will clear the part or the brake. So I'm going to put the screws right back in there. I'm going to put both of them in there this time so I can see the progress I'm making here. All right, so that's that bracket. Now we're going to make the transmission fit in there again. And hopefully that will accommodate the room that I need for it to clear. Let's see here. Yep. Okay, very good. It will work this time. I got everything all lined up and where it needs to be for this setup. All right, so now we got to work on the front drive shaft now. And I'm going to put that drive shaft on. Let's see, I need the right thing to loosen this up so I can put this shaft in. There we go. And I'm just test fitting everything. Let's see. Which way does that go? I'm putting it together so I can piece it together. There we go. And then that will tell me exactly how much I have to cut off the drive shaft on the front to make it work. So I'm just putting it back together, or the front shaft anyway. So I'm going to put this screw back in just to hold it. Just like that. I think I got the brake disc stuck. There we go. Yeah, I did. Pop that disc back on there. There we go. Okay, so now let's just test fit this in here. It won't fit all the way, but at least it'll get me to where I can fit the front drive shaft in there. And these can be a little bit of a trick to get in here because it's splined. Okay, yep. I have got to grind that shaft down for it to fit. And I have to go quite a ways to actually have to grind down both to make it work. But we'll get there. We're getting there so far. I'm going to take off the front drive shaft on the truck now. It's going to be kind of a doozy to get out of there. They don't give you very much room in here to get to it. But at least it'll all work out. My plan is coming together. So I have to grind down this drive shaft to make it work on the front. And then after that, it should be fine. So now I got to figure out if these are threaded. No, see that? It's not threaded. They're all not threaded. It's just this transmission screws. So that's going to be the next step that I do, is make sure that I have my drive shaft cut to where I need it to be. I'm not sure if I should cut the front yoke or the rear where I need it to be. Because I don't really want to mess this up, because I have it just the way I want it. There we go. Yeah, that needs to go quite a ways because it's still stock size. So I need to cut it about maybe a half of an inch, and that should accommodate the room that I need for the front drive shaft. So if I cut off a half inch on one part and a half inch on the other, that should accommodate the room. So that's what I need to do. I need to trim off. First of all, I'm going to measure just to make sure so I don't mess it up. I got to go that far up. So I need my tape measure. We'll measure that. So that's exactly a half of an inch up. So I need to take a half inch off of the yoke, or a half inch off of this, to make this work. And that should work. We're definitely a half inch off of this to make it work. And then I can always go, forward or backward if I need to with the transmission. So I'm just gonna fit this in here just to make sure. This can be kind of a pain to put in because all the parts are moving. I might have to get a longer rear drive shaft to make it work, but this is just the beginning of the build. So there we go. Pop that in there. Yeah, I need to go a half of an inch on this shaft because it's bottoming out right now on the front. It's like all the way up there. So I'm going to take a half inch off of this piece right here and then go from there. I will be right back, guys. Give me just a second. Okay, guys, I'm back. So I brought my hacksaw in with me, so I can do this modification. Just trying to get everything ready to go. So I already know that I gotta take a 1/2 inch off of this. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that at least. So I'm gonna mark a 1/2 inch up from the end of this shaft, which is about half of it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And take my marker here, put the tape measure up to it, and I'm going to mark a 1/2 inch. There we go. Got a mark made. All right. So that's step one. So we're going to cut this half shaft off right where that mark is. I don't know if you guys, yeah, you guys can see that. I got to cut half of this off on the front to make it fit. Okay. So now I'm going to work on cutting this off to make it work. Should work out pretty good once you get a cut started. So I'm just cutting the shaft or making a start cut. So I'm going to hold it with my pair of pliers while I cut this off. So I apologize if it's a little bit loud. I'm going to be cutting this off right here. Whoops, that didn't go as well as I thought. See, I need to hold this shaft a little bit better. It's not working out as well as I thought it was going to. Let's see. There's got to be an alternative to this situation. Let's see. Need to cut this off somehow. There we go. We'll try to hold it like that. So I'm letting the saw do the work, not really pushing down on it at all. Okay, I got cut about halfway through. I'm checking my progress as I go along. Starting to look good. So we're just going to keep on cutting it. All right, so that was a 1/2 inch that I just cut off of this shaft, just like that. Now we're going to take my hobby knife and we're going to clean up inside of there where I cut that. Because it's going to be kind of a mess. And it's very important that you clean all this up in here because then your shafts won't fit. So I'm just trimming it up, making it work. Getting all the extra stuff out of there. There we go. Now let's try to fit it in there again now that I have it cut. So hopefully it'll work out good. And I do know that I have to cut the other end off too, but this is just test fitting it to fit. This is going to be the hard part, trying to get the shaft to go back on there. It fit on there once, it can fit on there again. Let's see. So I need to move transmission forward where I'm going to have it so I can see where exactly I need to cut the other shaft. So I need to move the transmission forward. Like so. There we go. That's where I need it to be. So now I got to figure out how much of this shaft I need to cut off. About a quarter, maybe a quarter of an inch on the other side to make it work. Oh, I see why it won't fit, because I need to do some more trimming to it. I noticed that it's kind of binding up where it's supposed to go. That one needs to be trimmed. All right. So now that I got that, now I'm going to trim off the other part of the drive shaft, which is the underneath side. So I'm going to find the set screw for this. And we're going to take off this other drive shaft. I got to find exactly where that is on there because it's kind of dark. I can't really see what I'm doing. Let's see. I need to find that set screw. Okay, that's the other end right there. Okay, so now I'm going to take off the front part of this drive shaft. this is going to be the fun part, trying to get this shaft out. Because there's a pin in here that you got to take out. Sometimes they don't come out as easy as you think. Might have to take my big old needle nose, get those in there, and pull that out. There we go. Pull that shaft out of there. All right, so now I have the other part of the drive shaft now. So I need to cut off about that much shaft on the front. So now I know about how much I need to cut off to accommodate the rim that I need for the transmission. Okay, so I'm going to do the same exact thing with this. I'm going to cut off that much. So it's going to be just a little bit loud again. So when I get it all set and done, it will all line up and the drive shaft will fit. All right, so there's that. Now I cut off both the front and the rear of the drive shaft. So now I'm going to clean up this splined area so the drive shaft fits. So that in turn should fit together into the drivetrain, and then that should fit on the front. Now we're gonna dry fit everything. Make sure everything fits. Whoa, and the transmission fell out. That brake just does not like me at all. Silly thing. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and fit everything in here now that I have it done. Okay, this is going to be the hardest part, I think. Fitting everything back in so it fits. Let's see. Which way does that go? Okay, it's splined. So that should fit right in there. I'm not sure why it's not. There we go. Got it in there. So that should work for my plan. And everything still lines up the same. And the drive shaft will work with this. Okay, we got a front drive now. And everything looks good. Everything's all lined up. The holes line up. So that's that part. Got to figure out what I'm going to do for the rear drive shaft, or even if it will even fit on here. Probably too short to fit on the probably too short to fit on the rear. Yeah, the rear one has to be longer to make it work. So I've got to figure out something for the rear drive shaft. But other than that, it's coming along real well. I'm just going to pull this all out again now that I know that it's going to work. I'm going to finish cleaning up these areas on the that way when I go to fit it, it'll just like fit into the drivetrain. So that should work just fine for what I'm going to be doing to this truck. There we go. Now I'm going to clean up the outside of this drive shaft. Here we go. All right. So there's that. Now what I'm going to do is put the front drive shaft back in. Now that I know that I have it right, I'm going to put it back together. And then for the rear drive shaft, I'm going to have to figure out something for that. But as of right now, I'm going to put the front one back in, because that is just perfect, the fitment for it. So I'm going to pop that right back on. There we go. Okay. So now I'm going to find the side with the threads on it and pop that screw back in there and tighten her down. Okay, so now I'm going to get the side with the threads up so I can put that screw in there to be that side right there. So now I'm going to get my screw ready, and we're going to put this screw right back down in there. Whoops. Not like that. Let's see. I need to figure out a way to push that screw in there. Actually, I'm going to go from the side of it. Okay, so now that I got that lined up, now I'm going to tighten down that front drive shaft. Put that back on so it doesn't fall out. There we go. Got the front drive shaft back in. So that concludes the front drive shaft. Okay, so now for the rear one, I'm going to have to go somewhere to get me a longer drive shaft for the back so I can make it work. The front, as far as that goes, is just finished. So now I have to make something work for the rear. That's going to be a pain to get back in there because they're shorter, you know, because I cut it. But so now I need to figure out what I'm going to do for the rear drive shaft. So I'm going to pop this up so I can pull the rear drive shaft out. Same thing, but that should be easier to get out. So I'm just pulling this rear drive shaft out now, back here. This is a good, like, educational video. If you're wanting to make one of these trucks like this, and I'm going to pull the pin out on this drive shaft. There we go. And that pulls out like that. That'll be that drive shaft. Now I'm going to flip the chassis over. And I think these are the exact same size screw. And they are. That's good. Okay. So now I'm kind of at a standstill now because I need this shaft to be longer to make it work, but I don't have anything that's longer to make it work. I might have to get like a drive shaft off of a Revo maybe or something like that to make it work. So anyway, that's the progress for now. I just got to get me a longer drive shaft for the back, and then I can start putting this together. So thank you guys for watching. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. It would help me out a lot. And you guys have a fantastic day.